Please welcome to the stage Amit Singh, AJ Brown, Marissa Solis, and Evin Shutt.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Evin Shutt, Global CEO of 72 & Sunny, who's very fortunate to work with both the NFL and Adobe and to make that Super Bowl commercial a couple years ago. I just said to Marissa, I still get chills when I see it. I'm so excited to be joined here with Marissa Solis, who is the SVP Global Brand and Consumer Marketing for the NFL. AJ Brown, Super Bowl champion, 3 times Pro Bowl, wide receiver and philanthropist. And Amit Singh, Senior Director, Global Brand Partnerships at Adobe. And we're going to talk about international expansion of football in the NFL. So, Marissa, this week, the announcements are rolling out like crazy, but the NFL announced a record 9 international games for the 2026 seasons across 7 countries and 4 continents, including the debut games in Paris and Melbourne, alongside the return to a couple cities you've been to before, we'll get to. Tell me about the NFL's plans for this. What keeps you continuing to expand the schedule and the location of the games? What is driving that?
Yeah, I think, when you look at what the NFL can do when you think about the 5-year horizon, if you told me 5 years ago that we were going to be in the LA 28 Olympics, I wouldn't have believed it. If you told me 5 years ago that Bad Bunny was going to be headlining the halftime Super Bowl, I wouldn't have believed it. So when you think about the goal of global expansion for the league in the next 5 years, it's going to be transformative. Our vision is to become, a global powerhouse league. We want to be in the top 3 sports in every country that we're in. And I think, if you heard the commissioner earlier this week, he talked about the vision of having 16 international games in a season where every single team in the NFL gets to play at least 1 game during the season. So that's the vision. We're 9 in, so we've got a little bit of a ways to go, but incredibly exciting, what we're going to be able to do in the next 5 years or so.
I'm so excited about where it's going to go. AJ, you played in Brazil in 2024. Can you talk to it from a player perspective of the international, I think how it feels for you in the locker room, going to these different places to play that, some people have never even played football, American football, on these fields before.
I think my time in Sao Paulo was special. The only difference is the plane ride. And you have to focus so much on the preparation after you get off the plane because of you're sore or, your routine is off. Your routine is off, and you just try to play football, and it comes down to that at the end of the day. But when I talk about like the fans and the arena, the energy, I don't think they know the rules. And that's the beautiful thing about it, but they're cheering the entire time. And so here in the U.S., on 3rd down, they're going to make a lot of noise. But on 1st down, it's the same way all the time. So it's some difference, but most importantly, it was so much fun. They gave us so many rules and restrictions to not do and to do this and that. But, man, they showed so much love, and I appreciated my time over there.
I love it. The stadiums are full, and it is an interesting evolution of a soccer football game where they cheer the whole time, and that's such a great insight that they cheer
the entire
nonstop.
time. Yeah.
Amit, Adobe is in season 1 of a partnership with the NFL. How much did the international expansion play a role in that decision to become a partner?
Yeah, firstly, Evin, thank you for having me here. Excited to be here with Marissa and you, AJ. It was a really important consideration for us because if you think of our business, both on the consumer side and the enterprise side, we have a massive global footprint. So when we are looking for partners, we are being very thoughtful about how can we work with brands and properties that can also give us that reach and scale and amplify it significantly. So the NFL is a no-brainer for us because, as Marissa mentioned, the ambition's there to be a top 3 sport in all the markets that it's showing up. And for Adobe to be able to partner with the NFL in an authentic manner, our technology is used by the NFL for fan engagement and fan experiences globally. We can do a lot of great storytelling. So really excited to launch this partnership this year, and we've already seen a lot of momentum behind our international reach with the NFL.
I love it. Marissa, how do you think about marketing for the international games differently when you think about all the games that could happen every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday in the States?
Yeah, if you think about marketing the NFL internationally, it is a completely different game. So if you're a marketer in the crowd, you know, when you're the market leader, if you will, we are the #1 sports league in the U.S. Everybody knows the NFL. Everybody knows the rules. When you go abroad,
Mostly.
well,
The rules.
mostly everybody knows the rules. When you go abroad, we're nowhere near being the top, right? We're a challenger brand. There are many countries where we're not even in the top, you know, we're not even in the top 5. And so there is a lot of education to be made. We got to talk about the sport, educate people about the sport, get them interested in engaging with the sport. So it is very different. We really have to think about how do you go to a country and ensure that we're relevant in the local culture, but we're also carrying forth, you know, what we are, which is we are, you know, a global cultural powerhouse. So pop culture, everything we are in the States, we have to carry it forward and still be reflective of a local community and a local culture that's trying to learn and understand the game. So very, very complicated, but also very fun to see it come to life.
Right. Well, and I think that builds on this, the marketing philosophy of helmets off, put the players out front as you think about that. And that is where the love of the game is so rooted in the players. And for AJ, for you, obviously, you talk about the longer plane ride and the travel piece of it, and the fans cheering the whole time. But what do you see as the advantages as a player getting to be exposed and build a fan base in these other countries?
From the fans' perspective, they just want something to believe in. They want to feel a part, and only way you can do that is just giving them access to yourself, to your story, and to spread your story and to make them feel a part. As I believe my story resonates with him or resonates with AJ. So I think that's simple, and you want the league to continue just to grow because it's fun. And like you said like you seen on the video, it's kids in other countries, they don't want to come to the U.S. to come play football. Like, they want to play for their country, you know, so.
I love it, and you see it as we have more international players in the league.
Yeah.
And we'll come back to that, too, because I want to talk about the Pathway program and having teammates from other countries, which
yeah,
you
like
have.
Jordan Mulatto. Like, he always talk about where he's from, but I'm sure he would want to play where he's from. And that's a benefit, and hopefully we can expand and continue to grow, and that happens in the future.
I love it. And Amit, how is Adobe looking at the international games as a partner? Are you doing anything different in those games, and how are you leveraging that for the Adobe brand and NFL together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I spoke about the scale and reach of our brand, but a really good example of that is what we did in London this year. So we picked the Jaguars and Rams game as a key point for us to really do exec engagement with our enterprise customers and senior leaders that are based in Europe. Because imagine having to fly them to an NFL game here in the US is a significantly more challenging ask than bringing folks over to London. We also have a partnership with the Premier League, so the night before the NFL game, we took them to a Premier League game, and we were able to create an entire experience around that. That is, in a nutshell, is one way we can really expand our ability to reach our customers through the NFL, because we did not have that opportunity before. And so really excited to do that and do more of that. Obviously, this season and beyond is going to be even more accelerated, and we're excited to go to other regions too.
I love it. I love the opportunity for creativity as you expand, right, into the cultures and the players and the different communities of how you can play quite literally off the field with a brand like Adobe in the NFL. It's really exciting. Okay, I mentioned before the international player pathway and the growth you're seeing of the game, both by bringing players up in other countries into the league. Can you talk a little bit more about it and how you tell those stories? Obviously, we just saw one of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's so important, as you were saying, connecting with the people, and they connect with our players. And so, in order to connect with the local community, we want to make sure that we bring players from those local countries and communities to come up and be part of the NFL. And the International Pathway Player Program is a program that goes into the countries. We have the NFL academies, like you saw in Africa and the UK. We also have the Pathway Program, where now every NFL club has a place on their roster for an international player to be able to play the game. And so Jordan, you have Will Hernandez from Mexico, they're able to, play in the NFL. And it's been a great program. Over the years, we've had now over 60 players come through that program, and it's just going to continue to grow. And I think when you go back to your country, I mean, when you go back to, Australia and having them see Jordan there, it's going to be super exciting. Or even Amon-Ra St. Brown, potentially seeing him in Germany, like, because his background is German. Like, all of those things matter when you're trying to connect in the local community.
So amazing, and it's just incredible to see the growth of the game through that lens. AJ, you do a lot for the Philadelphia community through your foundation. As you think about international expansion and playing, I'm sure the Eagles will play in more international games. Is that exciting for you to think about impact you maybe could have internationally as well, outside of your current hometown?
Yeah, so my foundation is big for me. It's something that I love to do, giving back to the community. And if I can expand that to globally, that would mean the world to me. I grew up in Starkville, Mississippi. I didn't really have much growing up, but if I can expand and put smiles on kids' faces and teach them the game that I love, that I learned in my yard playing football, it would mean everything. And so that's just something that we want to continue to try to do and take advantage of with the opportunities that the league is giving us.
I love that. It's incredible to think about the impact. Speaking of, My Cause, My Cleats is an incredible program that the NFL has, and it's one of my favorite ways I've seen the Adobe and NFL partnership come to life this year. Amit, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So just for the audience, My Cause, My Cleats is obviously an amazing NFL program where players like AJ wear cleats in support of the causes they're most passionate about. And when we looked at that, we said, well, if players are designing cleats, Adobe has a whole suite of design products and a really interesting creativity story to tell. And our mission is empowering everyone to create. So what we did this year, we partnered with George Kittle and with Jaden Daniels, linked them up with two creators, Brandon Sanfilippo and Joe Castro. And we then walked them through the process of going from ideation to actually designing and seeing the cleat come to life. And we were able to document that entire process, use of Adobe tools, but also make sure that the cause that was very special to George and to Jaden really shone through as well. So when we look at international, just threading the needle here, absolutely. I think creativity is such a vibrant canvas for anyone to be able to express themselves that when we go globally, that shines through. It's something that we all have in common as humans. And when causes are brought into it, people are even more encouraged to create. So as we partner with the NFL in the following seasons, we'd love to do more of that internationally as well.
It's amazing. So I think we have a lot of marketers in here, a lot of brands, or other leagues as well. When you think about brands, leagues, and athletes who are here, like, what's the biggest opportunity right now in how football invites global fans to participate and not just watch the games? Kind of for everyone.
It is an incredible opportunity when you think about all the countries that we're going to, expanding into local communities, telling player stories, being able to bring the power of the NFL, its players, its magic, the culture to other countries. And so I would say if you're a brand, particularly like global brand, right, where you can come partner with us, tell the story, do the things, one of the examples I wanted to bring up, because Amit, you're very humble in terms of the partnership and what we've been able to do. We create these incredible creative canvases to tell the story of the league. But until we partnered with Adobe, we weren't able to fully get them out into the world. And using their tools and the way that we're able to create templates for the fans themselves to engage with the game, to send a text to somebody, to post, on Instagram. That's how, we want to expand. And so I would say for brands everywhere, all it takes is to, get involved, tell stories, and connect with the local communities to build a global brand.
I love that. Amit, any build on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Marissa, thank you for mentioning the templates. Templates allow us to use NFL IP and give them access to fans. So fans can now go into a creative product. They don't have to be creative professionals. These are folks who are creating social posts or just sharing something with their friends. But now they can use official NFL IP and really express their passion for their team, their favorite player. And that is such a powerful way for fans to engage with brands on their own terms. This is a lean forward, not like lean back and just receive a message motion. And that's something that we are really interested in.
AJ, from a player perspective, how do you think fans can engage outside of watching every Sunday, Monday, or Thursday? I love that 3 days to say now.
This big platform we call social media. The more you share, the easier it is. And I'm reaching fans across the world, and like I said, you just want to make them feel a part, but the simple answer is just social media, just using your platform throughout the week, engaging, including them in your workouts and through your experiences. And so I think that's it.
If we're sitting here again in 5 years, maybe not in San Francisco, but somewhere, how do we know that it's working and the NFL's winning on the mission of, obviously, if there's 16 games happening, that'd be amazing. But how else do we know you've won? How are you looking at that?
Yeah, for us at the league, our currency has always been and will continue to be relevance. And how we know we're winning is, are we relevant in that country? Are people talking about the game, not just the game that they saw, but the player stories, what's happening around the game? Is the local culture engaged? Are the young people, living the game every day? And is it 24/7, 365, which is what the league is today? I think we're seeing shades of that now. If you haven't been to an international game, it is such a unique and emotional moment locally. When you see the flag of your country, when the Brazilian flag was all over the field and the entire stadium is singing the Brazilian national anthem, or in Spain, or when you're in Dublin and you hear the anthem in Gaelic, you're connecting and unifying. And that, to me, 5 years from now, if we're connecting, unifying the world in the love of the game, that's a win. That's a win for us.
It's incredible. I kind of get goosebumps when you talk about it. AJ, where would you like to see the Eagles play if you could pick anywhere in the world?
Rio or Japan?
Woo! Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, Rio or Japan.
That's definitely a little longer flight.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that.
I know.
I love it. Amit, what's next for you when you think about things to build on from this season with your NFL partnership?
Yeah, just a quick personal anecdote. So my wife's from Spain, and her best friend is married to this guy who's a mad NFL fan. He's never been to the US, he has never been to an NFL game, loves the Patriots, and the way he interacts with the game is by consuming content, right? And so for me, when I think of what's next for Adobe, I think of someone like him. Now, he's obviously a bit in the bullseye in terms of being a mad fan, but if you can connect with him, give him, and AJ, you hit the nail on the head, access.
Right.
If we can give him access to content he can't normally get because he's living in Zaragoza, Spain, he's got a WhatsApp group that he's set up with other NFL fans in the city. That's the guy I think of for reaching Adobe fans, right? And if we can reach him and his friends, then you start really seeing a multiplier effect. Mm-hmm. And these people then start feeling like this game belongs to them as much as it belongs to the faces they're seeing on the screen every weekend. So that's what I think about Adobe. Getting more IP into our tools, getting these tools in the hands of fans, and then making sure we really amplify their stories and get their stories out there because their stories are unique. they're much more different than what we see here in the US. And my team and I, we always say, like, ultimately, as marketers, we're marketing to humans. And what really gets humans going is emotion and feeling. People don't act unless they feel something. So if Adobe can play a role in support of your team and your goals, Marissa, and get people to feel something emotional, then I think we're winning.
Well, I thought even when we were talking earlier, you were telling the story of the announcement had just come out about who was going to play in Melbourne. You want to share that? It's a great...
So I grew up in Melbourne, and Evin and I were just talking there, and the tweet came out that the Melbourne's game is going to be my 49ers against the Rams. And literally within 5 minutes, my phone blew up with my friends from Melbourne texting me, saying how excited they are. I've converted all of them into Niners fans. Sorry, AJ. we do need wide receivers, AJ, in case you're wondering. Just let you know that. But again, that's just the power of the brand and the power of the game, that it unites people because they love it so much. And getting the ability to see one game, and I don't know when Melbourne is going to get a game again, but that one game, you're going to have 105,000 people at the MCG, and they're going to be screaming their lungs off for the entire 3 hours. So it's going to be great.
I love it. Marissa, you've been to a lot of the international games, obviously, with your role. You gave a couple examples of stories of moments, but is there a moment, I'm sure you hear these all the time, a story that you've heard that you think is really the example of how the NFL is connecting culturally, locally to the people, and you're seeing them take it on and own it in a new way and kind of build the future of what the NFL is?
Yeah, I think what gives me a lot of hope is seeing, the experience through international eyes. We think we know the league because we've experienced it so much in America, but when you're in a different country and you see the fan base embrace the game, and one of my favorite moments, it was at the Bernabeu in Madrid. And the Bernabeu is sacred ground if you're the other football star, right? This is Real Madrid, the premier football team. But people who love and watch Real play, they're used to the rivalries, right? Real Madrid and Barcelona. When Real plays Barca, the fans do not interact. As a matter of fact, the stadium is built so that the fans do not interact because it's such an intense rivalry. And when we played, in Madrid, and having fans of both teams drinking beer together and hugging, and the Spanish people couldn't understand how, two fans from different teams wearing different jerseys could stand up and cheer and drink beer together. And that is the power of football. It brings people together in celebration of the game. Even if you don't understand all of the rules, which they did not. They were fascinated by the game. They were so enthralled with the spectacle of, the guys and the catches and the spectacular, runs and touchdowns and the sidelines and the cheerleaders and just everything. And I think that type of entertainment, that type of athleticism in game, you just do not see it in any other sport. And then the connection to the local culture, like I said, whether it's Karol G playing in halftime or singing your national anthem, there's just something very patriotic, and I don't mean American patriotic. I'm talking about Brazilian, Spanish, English, that's going to resonate, I think, with everybody. So really exciting to see it grow.
I love that insight, too, of the connection of the fans. As a kid who grew up in Green Bay, the Packers are very welcoming. I'm not so sure about the Eagles being so welcoming to other fans, though. That might be the one exception. Having also lived in Philly for a while, AJ, would you agree?
Yeah, I can agree.
But I saw you nodding your head as Marissa was talking about Real Madrid versus Barcelona, Cowboys versus Eagles, perhaps, is also a rivalry. But you're a fan of soccer, I take it as well.
A little bit. I play a little FIFA every now and then.
Okay,
Yeah.
Nice. Well, and I think the question most people want to know is, what are you reading currently?
I'm always studying, trying to just to get better. And right now, I'm studying neuroplasticity on the brain and just trying to focus on how athletes can grow mentally. Because we do so much with our body and preparing. Like, I'm a big, tough, strong guy, but I'm trying to grow mentally and spiritually. So if I can tackle that aspect, I feel like I can tackle the world.
I love that. You bring such curiosity, and have been such an incredible role model to kids with your literacy program and reading and what that means. And I also think we were talking with Dr. Mike Gervais, and he was talking about how we spend all this time training our bodies and developing skills, but the mental part of the game, we're just now catching up to that in so many ways.
Yeah.
It's really incredible. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. AJ, I do have one more question on behalf of a couple Ole Miss students in the audience. Are you ready?
Hell yeah. Damn right. Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, who the hell are we? Hey, flim flam, bim bam, Ole Miss by down.
Woo! Thank you all so much.
Love it.
Got to end an international panel on Ole Miss, obviously.
For sure.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.